Good afternoon, everybody.
I think we're muted. You got us muted on there.
You ready?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Afternoon. I'll call the February 1st, 2001 Utilities Committee agenda, or committee, to order. Can we get an approval of the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda as written.
Is there a second?
I think we're the only two here, John.
John, I don't know that you guys have a
I
quorum
don't think we
yet.
have a quorum yet.
Probably not.
Let me text Tim, see where they're at.
Yeah, Tim and Ron. Well, you're on it.
Just me and you, though.
Yeah, Joe probably won't be here.
We need one more person.
The hell, I could have printed the rest of it out now. So they make any progress on your building?
Yeah, we did the interior site layout the other day.
John, Ron is going to be joining us, so we'll have a quorum then.
Okay. On Zoom, or is he coming here?
I think he's just jumping on his computer.
Okay.
I hope he's just jumping on his computer.
Not yet.
John, I'm trying to log on, but I'm having some issues here.
Okay, well, I didn't know if you were coming or going to log on. We've got your IT expert over here, so,
Okay, tell him I hit the, is that Jeffrey?
yeah.
Is it me meeting link? See what's going on, but I'm having issues trying to log on, so,
Okay.
thank you, John.
He's having problems logging on.
Oh, you think everybody would be a Zoom expert by now?
I don't think the computers are Zoom experts. That's the issue.
There he is. Yes, sir.
Jeffrey, I'm trying to, hold on a second, they may have sent me the link again, I see.
John, I sent the link out as a calendar invite to Ron, so hopefully that will help.
Send it to you again,
It's on the calendar.
all right? Did you use the join a meeting link? Yes. Go to zoom.com and then press join a meeting and just enter the meeting number and then the password? No, no. Yes, yes, I don't know. They may be full, they may be jamming hard today since it's Monday. Okay, it'll ask for the password.
Okay, so maybe not.
Hopefully we'll see you in just a second.
Thank you, sir.
All right, bye.
Yeah, you logged on to one this morning.
I think you just call them. I don't have the waiting room going on or anything. And it's not my meeting, this is Eric's meeting.
All right,
All righty,
okay, well,
finally got it. Had to reboot my computer.
I guess now we'll call the February 1st, 2021 Utility Committee to order. And can we have an approval of the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Has everybody looked at the meeting notes from last month?
Yes.
Need to get an approval on those.
I move to approve the meeting notes from the January 4th, 2021 meeting as written.
Can we get a second?
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, for the reports, this looks like Eric, sewer, water, asset management, and risk and resiliency.
All right, this is Ashley Carbajal, the water resource specialist for the Village of Ruidoso. So for the sewer audit, the number of properties already audited are 4,715. We had 159 properties connected during the audit process so far, and 69 properties that have connected ahead of the audit. So the total number of properties connected right now is 228, and we have 7 properties pending connection.
All right, great.
Oh, and then, sorry. I
Yeah.
also,
Sorry, Ashley.
sorry. I also wanted to add in that I am working with Marty right now we're going to modify our dye test letter. So that way the dye test will be done by the property owner. And they're also in the process of updating their SOP for dye test. And so hopefully once all of this gets resolved, we should be able to continue moving forward with the sewer audit and sending out letters.
And just to add to that, John, the SOP that Marty is updating, before when we were doing dye tests, we were actually going in people's houses and, flushing the dye. And, this was pre-COVID, and I think even after COVID, we're going to keep this SOP. There's no reason why we need to be going in people's houses, and, it's just a risk thing. So we've ordered vials and put dyes in the vials, and we have to have a property owner or a caretaker there to do it. So we're just putting it on the front porch and letting them know, when to flush it.
Oh, they do it then?
Yes.
Could you just put it in the clean outs?
No, because there's not enough running water in there. We have to have some running water.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you, Adam.
So has that been working?
Yeah, we've done a few of them. Like I said, during the COVID stuff, we kind of stopped because, we didn't want the liability. So we went ahead and ordered those, and Marty's done a couple of them, and it's actually worked out really good.
Okay, great.
Did you have something, Eric?
Nope, I was
Okay.
making sure that we talked about that. Okay, so the next section is the water audit monthly report. So our infrastructure leakage index is starting to level out and actually decrease a little bit. And our non-revenue water value continues to decrease because of the reduction in water right leases. This is the trailing 12-month total water supplied, non-revenue water billed, authorized consumption. So we are starting to see that increasing trend is starting to level out a little bit more, and our non-revenue water is leveling out. And our water sales have upticked a little bit. And so the last one is the unadjusted and trailing 12-month average. So remember, the dotted lines are the actuals. The solid lines are the 12-month average. So we had a pretty steep drop in the total water supplied to the system for November and December. But the big difference here is that the dotted yellow line, we had a pretty big uptick in sales in December, which was expected. And it actually wasn't that different from last year, right around December. So we probably had about the same amount of people in town as we did before. And so with the decrease in total supply, increased sales, we did have a pretty steep decrease in non-revenue water. And Adam, do you want to talk a little bit about
Sure.
your pipe situation?
Sure. So in the last couple months, Randy and Eric have noticed a increase in supply for a grindstone treatment plant. One of the things that we're working on is on Flume Canyon at the castle going into Black Forest. There's always been a spring there. We've always had a spring, but this one now it was, in the dry season, it was starting to pop up a little bit more, and in the basement of the castle, they're actually taking on some water. So we went out there and we dug all around the castle looking for a leak, and didn't find anything. Josh actually went and put in a French drain there at the castle to keep it from staying there. And last month Jody was up where Flume and Black Forest split further up the canyon there, and saw just a little bit of water in the cracks. It was dry, so he did an exploratory dig. And what had happened is you have the little stream that runs down Flume Canyon there on the side. Well, they dug down 5 feet and hit another roadway, and that was actually below where the little stream runs. So they dug down even further, got down 10 feet, and actually found a 6-inch water line with a clean crack around it. So it wasn't surfacing there, it was just find the place of least resistance, and that's where it's coming out, it's down at the castle. So I think that's gonna, I think in the next couple months, we'll be seeing that, even more of a decrease there for Randy.
Okay, well, good you found it. Yeah, I saw you over in the parking lot behind Allsup's and the cleaners with rifle the other day.
Oh, yeah.
You looking for that spring too?
Oh, yeah, looking for that spring too.
That is a spring. isn't
It is a spring, yes.
That's what I thought.
Adam, when did you guys do that 6-inch line repair?
I want to say it was right in the middle of December, Eric. I'll have to look back and see the exact date.
Okay.
Hey, Adam.
Yes.
Hey, I thought that water was coming from the laundromat.
No, this is a complete different spot.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, this is Black Forest.
No, I'm talking
the
about
one I was
over at
talking
the
about.
Allsup's.
Oh, at the Allsup's, okay. All that in there is private, we have that PRV, Randy. But,
Yeah.
there is a drain that comes from the cleaners, the dry cleaners up above.
Yeah.
So when it does rain, there's like a French drain that comes through there and bubbles out in the middle of the parking lot. But, the other cleaners down below, the Beckers, they actually put in a French drain years back, and that's where all that water's coming from, is behind Allsup's. It's through the French drain, and then somebody piped it around Allsup's coming out. So we did actually we went over and took a chlorine residual on it, and it was hot, but it was hotter than what we actually have in the pipes, and that was during the snow. So I think it was the salt and everything that they put in the parking lot. So we're waiting for it to dry out, and we'll go back and redo it.
Yeah, because I remember taking a residual on that same stream, gosh, quite a while back. And I definitely got a residual on it.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Allsup's put in that other piping because it ran down, it was getting into the Century 21.
Foundation,
building
yes.
there.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Good. One more leak fixed.
One more, 100,000 to go.
All right, Eric Risley, the asset management.
Okay, so everyone's been able to look at the asset management plan that was put together, but the remaining budget that's left over from the money that we had with a contract with the Southwest Environmental Finance Center is about $34,000. And I'm hoping that everyone would be okay that they continue helping us implement the asset management program, because there is still some data collection components. They're just wanting a letter from us signifying that we'd like them to still keep working with us through the terms of the contract with the remaining balance. So I just wanted to see what your guys' opinion was.
Is that going to be with you guys or with some of the other departments?
That's going to be with the water utility. So, water, wastewater, and sewer collection. So, for instance, we got a good amount of the kind of core paper maps georeferenced in ArcGIS, but there's still probably 6,000 maps that need to be georeferenced. And so it would be really helpful for us to have them on board to help us georeference these files and help us kind of strengthen that geodatabase and asset inventory.
Okay. Well,
I think Tim would be the one who probably would have to give the final authorization. And I think he did join us finally, but.
are you there, Tim?
I'm here now, Eric, yes.
So we were just seeing if we could try to continue the contract with Southwest Environmental Finance Center for the remaining balance of the contract so that they can help us with the initial implementations of the asset management program.
Eric, my recommendation would be to put it on the council agenda since that originally went to the council. So I think just to update them, and I think we can entertain adding that, seeing if the council would entertain adding that to the council agenda tomorrow.
Okay, so basically we'll ask the mayor and see if we can get it onto the regular council meeting.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, since the council was originally involved with that, I prefer that we, make sure that we're including them in that decision.
Okay. It was just you that signed it, but I think it would be better just, especially with the council meeting so soon. Okay, I'll work with Ron to put together the documentation for that.
Okay, the risk and resiliency.
Okay, so just kind of giving an update of where we're at right now. So we've all been working together on doing the different steps and having workshops with water distribution and water production together. We're now kind of dividing out and working on them individually. So water production assets, we're now putting them into the VSAT tool, which is a analysis tool. And then water distribution and the water rights or water resources, we're starting to rank how all these asset threat pairs are working together. All the asset threat pairs have been identified. We're just now kind of sorting through them and making the final list to go into the analysis part.
Okay. And under planning, looks like the next 3 years, Eric.
Yeah. So I worked with Marcus last week we did a review of the various elevations of the Alto Reservoir water line and have started devising the potential valve placements to be able to isolate the line into smaller sections. Once we have that in place, I'm probably going to end up killing Adam, but me and him will need to go hike the line. So hopefully you're ready for some exercise, Adam, because I think I just about died the last time I hiked it.
What are you saying, Eric?
I'm saying that I'm out of shape, and I'm assuming you are.
Start at the top and walk down.
Yeah, there you go.
The problem is you have to walk uphill both ways.
Yeah.
Downhill's harder than uphill.
In some of those spots, it definitely is because it's like a little cliffside where you slip on the pine needles, and it's a little bit hairy in spots. You kind of wonder how they put a pipeline there. So once we have that in hand, and I walk the line with Adam, that's when we'll probably make a determination if we want to do the pressure testing in-house or do some contract work. But it is, the pressure testing is going to be quite a process, but it would be pretty expensive to install a new line. I mean, this hopefully will end up saving us about $1 million in infrastructure costs. So we'll put up some of the funds for the getting it set up for the pressure test, and hopefully we can figure out a safe, easy way to implement that. But that's the major holdup. They have the rest of the recommendations for the plan. We're just waiting for that pressure testing component. And then for the underground storage and recovery, there's been no movement on that. There was we're just waiting for the final draft, and then we're going to schedule a meeting with the Office of the State Engineer. And then for Wingfield Park, I re-engaged Chris Phillips. Me and him met last week, and I told him that we were still waiting for his cost proposal to bring the planned drainage improvements to Wingfield Park, to finish up that design and then bring it through construction. So I'm going to really push him this month to try to get it so that we can get it on the March council meeting.
Okay. Ron, are you doing the town and country water and sewer? I don't see Sam on there.
I think Samantha might be there with Tim.
Oh, she stepped out.
Okay, we'll come back and get her. Back to you, Eric. Stormwater at Horton.
So Chris is just waiting for the survey results to get back from his surveyor. But me and him did talk about the complications of getting the water around Ralph Nosker's property down on Gavilan Canyon. But I think he's starting to figure out a good solution, and it might be that in certain spots we just need to do a riprap channel to make sure that we have the flows to run all that water past that property and not spill over onto that property.
Are you going to use that ditch on the south side of Oscar's property to put it in, or?
Yes, so that's where all the water goes anyways.
Yeah,
But it's full of trees. There's encroachment from some of the residences there with fences. So, we did meet with him and talk with him. We want to try to develop a solution that will kind of make him content about that conveyance on the right of way there with minimal disturbance, because there's there's a tall rock cliffside that we need to deal with as you get further east, and then there is some we need to see how the survey goes, but Ralph is saying that he owns like portions of the area where the water is already draining. So we really needed a survey to figure out exactly where our right of way is in that area. And so once we get these results back, that's going to really guide that drainage ditch design.
yeah. All right, Adam, the imaginary RJU building.
You imagine? No, it's the infamous RJ building. So the site plan is complete on it. Last Friday, I believe, I had a meeting with the Wilson and Company, and we're buttoning up the interior design. It's pretty much all done. Hopefully, we'll go out to bid the end of March, 1st of April on it. So.
How long's construction on it? Have they estimated it?
They did, and I can't think of it off the top of my head. I can't remember how many days it was.
Forever.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be done. I'm shooting for, and I talked to Wes and everybody at Wilson. I told them it's got to be done by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. All right, the Grindstone Dam projects. Randy?
Okay, the 30% drawings and package is completed. We had a meeting and we reviewed all the documents, and I made all the changes and I sent them back to Gresh. And then we had a meeting last week and we kind of went over a bunch of questions that he had. So I think I answered everything that he needed. So he's moving on with the 90%. And I did complete a task order for for Sauter Miller to come out and do the second survey on the dam. So they're moving on that, and he's gonna give me a date when they're gonna be out here to complete it. But everything's moving. We should have the 90% probably by mid February or near the end. So
All
but
right,
that's, if anybody has any questions on that one.
all right, well, good. Looks like Samantha's back. Tell us about Town and Country.
Yes, Counselor, we are awaiting the financial section of the CDBG paperwork to be approved by our project manager. And once we have that, we've also sent over the wage rates that Sauter Miller had prepared for us over to him. We should get the green light to issue our invitation for bid to bring the contractor on.
All right, great. All right, Eagle Creek and Gavilan Canyon well field. Sounds like Eric.
Yep. So we got a confirmation memo from Sarah Roten with NMED Construction Bureau for the Brown and Fault well. And we just had one certification document just saying that we own the property or have all of the right of ways secured. So the engineer is filing that. So we're getting close to having the bid packet finalized. And now we're just looking at the scheduling of this to try to coincide when we would actually have the grant, the Water Trust Board grant funds in hand. So I need to schedule a meeting with Karen and John Commander to go through that schedule. But I think we're probably going to be looking at trying to do something so that we have the contract awarded in possibly May, and then we can give the notice to proceed contingent upon the Water Trust Board funds. So when we get those in hand, then we can issue that notice to proceed. But if we do any work ahead of the actual contract or the grant funds being in hand, they're not eligible for reimbursement.
Does that look pretty good for getting that Water Trust Board grant?
It just depends on the amount of money that they're going to allocate for that program, but we were scored number 2 on the conveyance section, which is where I think 70 to 80% of the funds go. So it's pretty likely, but the project ahead of us is like a $4.5 million project. So if there's not much money at all, we could possibly get shorted. But based on previous funding amounts, I feel pretty confident in the amount.
All right, well, good. All right, Karen, the hazard mitigation and stabilization.
Good morning. Good afternoon, counselors. I don't know why I'm thinking it's morning still. Hazard mitigation, we're steadily working on the easements for this project. We had initially estimated 155 easements for the hazard mitigation. Since then, when we figured out how many property owners and lots were involved with Track G, what they're calling Track G, we've taken on an additional 18 easements that we'll need to secure from 13 property owners just on Track G alone. So that bumps that up to, I believe it was 173 easements that we'll need for the hazard mitigation. So we're steadily working on that, or that's become, like I said, it's been my number one priority. So as soon as we get those secured, get closer to a comfortable area where we can start reviewing and getting the procurement ready for that, we will. And as far as the lift stations and force mains, we have gotten a commitment from the engineer to get us the procurement, the IFB ready back to us on the 5th, which is this Friday. Once we receive that, we've already contacted Department of Homeland Security, find out who our contacts are to send that procurement to get approval. We're hoping to have that approval in hand by the 12th, so we can go out for advertising on the 19th. We'll advertise February 19th and have the bids due on the 23rd of March. And then hopefully take the engineer's recommendation to the council on the April 13th meeting for the lift stations.
And they'll be able to start pretty quick.
Yes, we're hoping, like I said, we're hoping to get a bid put in place and secured by the 13th and hoping to have the notice to proceed issued on May 3rd. That's
Okay.
the schedule that we've come up with, pending on approvals from Department of Homeland Security.
All right, good. Okay, construction on the Alto Crest treatment plant.
Okay, a lot of moving parts over at Plant 3. They finished framing the chlorine room. They finished sheetrock on the wall at the equipment entrance. They started demoing the filter number 2 last week, which was quite a process because they had to remove all the media and all the rock. And they basically had to pull it up from a bucket into a wheelbarrow, roll it across the filter, down into another wheelbarrow, and then out the door and into a backhoe. So it was quite a process. But they got it all cleaned up. They're gonna actually spray wash the filter sometime this week. But hopefully the demo should be done in the next few days. Electrical subcontractor is continuing working on the conduits and the wiring, and boy, they got a lot of wire going in. So I'm glad it's their job, not mine. And the new fans are or exhaust fans are up and installed. They installed the 2 chemical buildings. One is located on the outside on the concrete pad, which they've got the wiring and everything hooked up to it. The other one was taken inside, and that's already anchored. And they installed a 2,500 gallon bulk storage tank. And the work in progress, there's finishing up on the HVAC. Basically, they've got all the heaters installed, but the gas line is pretty close to being completed. Framing entry to the process area where the dock is, they're still working on that. They're working in the chemical feed area. They're working on the bathroom renovation. They already installed the firewall inside the garage, and things moving pretty quick. Any questions?
No?
A lot of moving parts.
All right, Eric, the apple orchard and Middle Gavilan well.
So most of the work for the change order has been completed. We're just waiting for some final punch list items, particularly are dealing with the fencing. Randy and I are in the process of taking control of the sites. So we've got the sample results being sent to NMED, and then we're working with General Hydronics to take control of the sites and start operating the wells.
All right. Okay, the restoration of existing sewer lines and manholes. Is that Karen or you?
It's either way. I can give an update on them.
Okay.
To date, they've done a little over 19,000 feet of lining. They've been working most Saturdays to kind of catch up and keep ahead. As you know, we did have the spill on our week before last.
Yeah.
And that was due to their pumps. They did have a backup to their pump, and even the backup failed on that one. So
Right.
it was just one of those fluke things that nobody knew was coming, and, you know, everybody kind of pulled together and did a great job to get it all mitigated.
Good.
But like I said,
Did we get any feedback on that from anybody downstream?
no, actually, you know, we didn't get it. I didn't receive any calls on it. And we did, you know, we took the samples and we notified all the agencies. And like I said, I think there's a couple that are still looking it over, but so far we haven't heard anything back.
Okay, good. All right, close out a country club tank. Randy, is it still not leaking?
No, everything's going pretty well. I did a walk around on the tank last week, and everything looks really good. We do have the SCADA switched over to the new tank, and the new tank is actually online, and everything's working good. So it's fully automatic. We still have the capability of going back to the old tank for right now. It's kind of serves as a backup. So if something happened, we could switch back to the other tank and we would still have plenty of water. We plan on doing that until the year warranty is up. But I've talked to Jerry about getting the closeout documents, and I spoke to him several times about a week ago, a week and a few days, and he said he would submit them, but I haven't seen anything yet. So I sent him a text earlier to see if he could send them to us so we could get this thing finalized and closed out. If not, I might reach out to Katie, see if she can help, because, you know, somebody else will probably do the closeout documents, but trying to get that done. So, but other than that, everything's completed and, you know, we're almost there. I know I sound like a broken record, but trying.
All right, Eric, the Hemlock Circle.
I can actually
Oh, okay.
do that one.
Go ahead, Adam.
We did get the shape files from the contractor and the engineer. Everything matched up, so we will actually be bringing that to council for the final closeout tomorrow.
Great.
There was a deduction on that of right or a little over $40,000.
Change order Tim will like.
Yeah, a good change order. I think we all like those ones.
Yeah, really. Okay, the Alto 2 improvements.
So just like Hemlock, we've got Alto 2 for a balancing final change order tomorrow with a similar amount. I think it was like $35,000 reduction in contract price. So this project actually it shares a project number with the Apple Orchard and Middle Gavilan wells because they're collectively phase one of the improvements. So this one will be in a final report with the completion of those two wells.
Okay. Tim and I kind of talked about it the other day, but, you know, your last change order got 2 people voting against it. And one of these days I'm worried about, since they're already completed before they ever come to council, I'm not sure that's the best way, but once again, I think we need to tighten up on these contracts. The last one that you brought, Eric, was, part of it was because we found a water line or something. I'm not sure why they don't do locates to start with. And then it seemed like several of the changes were on our side instead of engineering, so it'd just be nice if we could tighten those up so we don't have to fight those every time they come through.
Sure. No, you know, the one water line was one that we didn't mark when there was a utility locate called in. But yes, we'll, you know, we're trying to be more diligent about change orders, and hopefully we won't have as many coming back that are kind of our wish list of things.
Yeah, hopefully we can think of those to start with. And, you know, I'm kind of worried about one of these days we're going to get one and the council doesn't get to see them before they happen. So these are already a done deal. And what's going to happen if we say no?
Well, so the change order for Apple Orchard and Middle Gavilan, the only field change that we were verifying was a time extension, and that was just for our issue with the utility application. So none of the other stuff was actually started at that point.
Okay. Well, the one up on the Country Club tank, which I don't think was our fault. I think that was a engineer and we should have held the boring company's feet to the fire on that one, I think. But that was already done. And it wasn't really the contractor that did the work. It wasn't his fault.
No.
But
That one went to a tie, and the mayor actually had to do the tie and vote on it. Do you remember that, John?
yeah,
So that one could have gone either way.
right. And I thought it was not the contractor's fault, but I thought it was Jerry and the boring company's fault.
Correct.
And but one of these days, I'm afraid we're going to have a problem on one of those like that. So I'm not sure exactly how to handle it, but I know we started putting rock clauses in some of the digging contracts, so we're just going to have to tighten up on these others, I hope. So anyway, does anybody have anything else? All right. Looks like March 1st.
John,
Yeah.
Karen, can you talk a little bit to the capital projects office is the one managing these projects, these contracts. So, you know, I think you need to talk a little bit about what your intention is with your department to address change orders.
Yes, Counselor Cornelius and Manager Dodge. The Capital Projects Department is currently working on updating a process to start incorporating a risk management type of approach to start at the front end of the actual contract. When we're putting together the scope of work for the project, we want to start engaging more actively on the reviewing the actual scope of work, and then looking for ways to capture any type of what ifs, and maybe involving some type of contingencies for different line items that are somewhat questionable. Especially on your rehab and rehab projects. We know that there's a lot of unknowns, so we need to start engaging and getting a plan put together to start looking for those types of things and heading off the problems that might come down the road with these types of projects.
Yeah, but that'll be good. Because I've always found that we get better pricing when they're bidding the project instead of doing a change order. So on some of those unknowns, if we can have a price per unit or whatever is appropriate on those, we may get better pricing.
Yes, sir, I agree with that.
All right. Well, thanks. Hopefully we can tighten that up a little. Does anybody have anything else? All right.
Good.
How's that, Tim?
No, obviously the same, John, I'm good.
Oh, okay. I guess we're adjourned. Thanks.
Hey, just real quick, Randy,
Yes, sir.
I liked your detailed description of the wheelbarrows, but you forgot about airing up the wheel and the wheelbarrow.
I don't want to find another one in line.
Good catch, Tim.
Line?
Good catch.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.